and welcome to this special edition of The Firm. We're now 2 months away from the implementation of the International Financial Reporting Standards, or IFRS as they're known. And I know that for the past several months we've been waiting very keenly for the government to make the requisite changes, whether it's amendments to the Companies Act or the notification of the standards. Unfortunately, both of which have not yet happened. But to get a sense of the progress that we've made on IFRS, whether we'll meet the deadline or not, and what it will mean for corporate India and its financial reporting, I have with me the man who's spearheading a better part of this movement, YH Maligam. Mr. Maligam, thank you very much for joining us on The Firm. Let me start by putting to you a question that I think most people have not fully understood as yet. The constant debate as to why we're moving to IFRS seems to be dominated by the rationale that for those companies that are raising money internationally, or for those companies that are inviting foreign investors, it would allow for a standardization and comparable set of accounts. But I've heard you say that you truly believe that these are better standards than the standards we're currently following in the country. Give me a sense of why you believe that, and thereby explaining to people why this move is important.
I think you have to go back to the origin of international accounting standards. This started sometime in 1977 or so, when the International Accounting Standards Committee was formed. And the feeling was that we should have standards which are comparable all over the world. Now, to further that, they established an organization, which is now the International Accounting Standards Board, is really a extension of that organization. Initially, it was informal in the sense that the people who drafted the standards were really nominees of the different accounting bodies. But with the formation of the International Accounting Standards Foundation, which is very strongly funded, including by entities in India, they have a permanent establishment. They have 12 members of the IASB who are there almost full time, and then they have a staff which is attached to it, a research staff. So therefore, when a standard is made, there is what they call a due process. The standard is first prepared by the staff of the International Accounting Standards Board. Then the standard is debated by the members of the board, and only if a majority of the members approve of the standard, it is then exposed. And there is a long period of exposure where a lot of international comments are received, and those comments are then considered and the standard is formulated. So the standard is if you like, prepared with a lot of inputs and care, and that makes it a very good standard. And that is what I have been trying to say, that we are not adopting the standard merely because it's an international standard, or merely because it has some relevance to international investment in India or Indian companies borrowing abroad, because that has a restricted application so far as the total group of companies in India is concerned. But we are adopting the standard because we believe it is a good standard. And if rather than our reinventing the wheel, we may as well take that as an anchor, use a standard, and then see whether there is anything in the standard which creates problems for Indian companies.
Specifically, what within the IFRS standards do you believe are an improvement on Indian GAAP? Like, is it the whole process of shifting to fair value accounting that you intrinsically believe is the way Indian companies should go?
I think you must understand that when you talk of an accounting standard, you're talking of three parts of the standard. Every standard has certain standards on recognition, which means you decide what is income, what is expenditure, what is an asset, what is a liability. Then you have standards on measurement. You measure, how do you measure, what value do you put on an asset or a liability, so on. And finally you have standards on disclosure. And you say what is the disclosures which must be made for the purpose of transparency. Now, over the years, not just in India but all over the world, accounting standards initially were just a codification of accounting practices. You said we were doing something in a particular fashion, and therefore, because everyone was doing it in that fashion, you made it into a standard.
Right.
But you didn't apply your mind to say, is that the right way of doing it?
Okay.
So now, when an international standard is drafted, it is intended to be a rational application of a thought process.
Okay.
Now, that is why it's a better standard.
So fair value is an outcome of that rational
Fair
application.
value is only a measurement standard.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Sure. And it's
not
only
a
one
recognition
part of all
style.
of
Yeah.
it. Yes.
So you can, but what is critical is the recognition standard. What is income under an Indian standard cannot cease to be an income under some other standard.
Right.
But what is an asset cannot be a different asset. But how do you measure that asset? That is where the difference comes in.
I'm glad you explained this, and the reason why I opened with two slightly general questions this close to the conversion is that several components of India Inc., so to speak, still don't fully understand why we're moving to IFRS, and because they don't understand it, there's this sense of opposition, saying, why are you forcing us to go through this process? The process itself has gotten vilified because we have pushed things to such a last minute. So let me talk to you about, are you disappointed that we are now in February and we still have absolutely no idea of when the standards are going to get notified, when the Companies Act amendment is going to happen? It was expected to happen through an ordinance. It hasn't happened as yet. And we've quite literally put India Inc. on the edge with regards to the conversion starting April 1st.
Well, not really. If you look at the actual facts, we have first decided that there will be two groups of companies to whom two different sets of standards will apply. So when we are looking at the first group, it is the group which consists of listed companies or which are listed in India or abroad, or which have a net worth ultimately of 500 crores. That's group 1.
Yes.
Group 2, that is those companies which have a net worth of less than 500 crores and which are not listed are in group 2. So the first thing to remember is that so far as group 2 is concerned, the existing standards apply.
Right.
So this has no impact on them. When we come to group 1, we have given a roadmap. And in that roadmap, the only companies to whom the standard will apply on the 1st of April 2011 are those companies which are listed companies and which have a net worth in excess of 1,000 crores.
Right.
So our estimate is that only about 300 companies are involved in that figure.
But sir, those